Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Brian James, and today we're going to talk about my Lucky Strike Chevron. So, as you may have guessed if you've been on my channel and looked around, these little cars are my passion. I absolutely love driving them. Nothing gives me more freedom. I used to ride motorbikes, but family and friends passing on unexpectedly tends to put a bit of a dampener on riding bikes. Not saying you shouldn't do it, it's just not for me. So these cars are the closest thing I get to the freedom that I found when I was riding my bike. So today we're going to talk about the Lucky Strike one that I built up over last Christmas. So when I bought this, it had been painted blue and it had a large windscreen on it, about as aerodynamic as a Volvo or a block of flats. Either one, yeah, not very good. Had the big roll bar on it, but I never carry passengers in it much, other than my son who's holding the camera behind there. Hi. Anyway, so that's why we're building the smaller one. So I got this roll bar put on, I built. So we'll go over it. This car was built in 1990. So falls before a lot of the certification laws in New Zealand. So I can get away with quite a lot of things. So I don't need retractable seat belts and things like that. When I got it, as I said, it had a large screen, it was painted ugly blue, it didn't have very nice wheels on it. And so after looking at a lot of the cars on YouTube and Facebook and that, I decided that I was going to build this car the way I wanted it. So it was also done, I have to admit, it was done on a budget as well. So a lot of the paint was what I had left over from former projects, such as the candy apple and the white. So repainting it cost me a maximum of $200. The wheels I bought on Trade Me, which is New Zealand's equivalent of eBay. But they cost me $80 with the tyres. So, mint. The running gear in this car is a 3.8 litre V6. So it's coming out of a VP Commodore, and that's the complete running gear. The motor, gearbox and the diff all out of a VP Commodore. So your average Commodore, early Commodore, weighs around about 1700, 1800 kgs. This weighs just on under 700 kgs, so it's turned a very average motor into something that can you can have a bit of fun with. Tell you what, let's have a quick look at it. So there's our motor as it sits in the car. It sits in quite nicely. There's a fair amount of room there. So these cars, when you ordered the kit from Chevron Engineering, which was based in Onehunga here in Auckland, you got your chassis and your fiberglass, and then you bought a donor vehicle to put whatever you wanted into it. This one has had a motor changed, and it's been changed up to a 3.8 litre V6. But along with that, they've also changed all the brakes. They've put all the Commodore brakes into it. So once again, the brakes are used to stopping a big car. Now they stop a small car. So I've had no issues when I've run this car, and that includes having track days with it. I've put a new radiator into it. So part of the rebuild over the Christmas time was the old radiator was pretty average, so we've got a new radiator in it. Obviously I deleted the big windscreen. We put on these Brooklyn screens. That's an XK120 rear vision mirror. Coming back here a bit, I'll just watch my head. As I said before, I've deleted the big roll cage and I've just put on the small roll cage. My head with a helmet comes to about here, giving me a sufficient room to make sure that if, in the unlikely event that it does go over on its lid, I don't have my head cracked open. So all the gauges, just get that off there. That's out of the VP Commodore. So once again, I've got tacho, speedo. This car isn't going to get up above 200, so, well, I've never had it there. And we've got a quick disconnect steering wheel. Turn that, pull the steering wheel off. That enables you to get in and out a whole lot easier. As you can see under here, there's not a hell of a lot of room. And the only way, because of the tunnel has been extended or widened for an automatic, that's reduced my footwell. There's no room for a manual, but that's okay. This car basically isn't designed to go on the track. It's just to do touring. So it's extremely lazy, it's not high performance at all. That 3.8 litre V6 at 100k sits at around about 2000 RPM. You've got plenty of power to pull out and pass if you need to, but most of the time you don't, you're just cruising. You don't get a lot of wind buffering behind these windscreens. It's actually mildly comfortable. Obviously not as comfortable as a modern car, but that's not what it's about. This thing is about having fun and enjoying yourself on a beautiful summer's day. So with that being said, the Lucky Strike livery, after painting it, it looked pretty bland, so I added in the candy apple stripes. Now I don't know if you can see it, but if you look deep into the candy apple stripes, you'll see that I've airbrushed a whole lot of skulls. It's just something a little bit different, and most people don't see it until they look deep enough and then go, oh hey, you know, that's pretty cool. Again, it still looked pretty bland, so we decided on putting the Lucky Strike advertising on it, and I think it gives it a nice standout. Obviously I don't smoke, so that's just part of, I think, making it look something different. You don't see a lot of these in car shows anyway, but this one certainly stands out. It is registered and warranted for New Zealand roads, so if I want, I can take it out anytime I like. Obviously not right now because it's winter and it is raining. So it's all good. Yeah, look, if you like what you saw, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I will be posting up more videos, mainly as we go through getting this one ready for the road. And once these two are ready for the road and this one is on the road, my son and I will hopefully be doing a bit of touring through New Zealand, so you'll get to see quite a lot of shots of New Zealand and what it looks like. Thanks very much. You have a good day.